So, Star Trek, that's not really something that I've spoken too much about on this channel, but in this one we're going to be talking about the movies, because there's been some recent developments with regards to re-releases and so on. Now, just for context, in case you're not too familiar or maybe you want a bit of a refresher on the kind of the layout of the movies, and originally there were 6 movies for the Captain Kirk cast, the original series cast, as you can see here, centre screen. So you've got the 6 movies, that's just as a reminder of which ones they were. And then films number 7, 8, 9 and 10 were the Next Generation movies, which I have on DVD only. That doesn't really matter. And then there's the 3 J.J. Abrams movies. So you've just got Star Trek in 2009, then you had Star Trek Into Darkness and Star Trek Beyond. So those were J.J. Abrams movies. This video we're going to be mostly talking about the original 6 movies. So they started around about 1979 with the motion picture and kind of wrapped up in 1991 for the 25th anniversary of the series with Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. Now, this is a Blu-ray set in the centre. I do own these here are the 6 movies on DVD, and the reason I have both I'm going to get into in the actual video, but these are the theatrical cuts only on Blu-ray in full HD. These are DVDs. Now, the first film has a special edition or director's cut, as it's known. I tend to refer to it as a special edition because I kind of think of it in the same light of the Star Wars special editions, and I'll get into that in the video as well. But if you wanted to watch that, up till recently, the only way to watch that was on standard definition on the DVD. And then similar, you've got Star Trek 6, which, as far as I was concerned, there was only one cut of that film, and we had it on every format until Blu-ray came out, and then the version that you get in this Blu-ray set of Star Trek 6 is like the theatrical cut only, which is a real shame because that never really saw the light of day outside the cinema. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this anyway, because there's been some good news recently, especially with regards to Star Trek the motion picture, because like I say, if you're a fan of the director's cut, you could only watch it on DVD and it wasn't a very good quality one. This is a very old DVD. So we're going to get into this anyway. Like I said, I don't want to repeat myself too much, but I just wanted to give you a bit of a visual representation of how these things work. Obviously, we've got the original series here. I don't really have much else beyond the Captain Kirk stuff, because to me, that's my Star Trek. But I understand there's a lot of people do like all the other stuff as well, which is great, but it's not really my thing. So with that, I will just leave it, and we'll get to the actual video. So we were having a conversation about the tofu, so I think we better switch gears now anyway. Today we're talking about, Star Trek movies. Bit of news, but obviously it's something that we haven't really talked about too much on this channel, at least not in a long time anyway. And obviously I've got the core on Skype. You know your stuff when it comes to Star Trek as well. So yeah, that's your way of confirming your presence. I was hoping for a years.
Oh, I'm sorry, years.
There we go. It's the call's calling card. So yeah, I mean, we're having this conversation yesterday. I thought we could maybe record a video about it, because recently found out that Star Trek the motion picture was getting a full-on 4K re-release, but not of the original version, which came out quite recently on 4K for the first time, but the special edition, I think it was 1999. It was the 20th anniversary, because the film came out originally in 79, the motion picture, and it was a definite improvement on the original. But unfortunately, the only way to have watched this up till now was standard definition, because for context, this was a couple of years after the Star Wars special editions came out. And if you're not sure what that means, it was a similar thing. It was the 20th anniversary of Star Wars. That came out in 77, so in 97, especially with the build-up to the prequels coming out a couple of years later, they re-released the original trilogy, and they tinkered with them and did all sorts of changes, added to the special effects and the sound effects, all added little extra scenes in there, like here and there.
some of it were improvements. A lot of it was bad stuff as well. And just kind of like picking a spot, basically. The more you pick at it, the worse it gets. That was George Lucas. But they did something similar with Star Trek. But in my opinion, all of the changes, all of them were nothing but improvements. They even took the movie's runtime and made a few cuts so it didn't drag as much, because the motion picture has its fan following, and I'm a fan, but a lot of people really don't like that one and will skip that movie if they're watching the movies. It gets called the slow motion picture or the motionless picture, because a lot of it, there's just nothing happening. I can totally see the criticisms. It's just like sequences in space.
Special effects, like, extravaganza, except the special effects aren't all that special.
Yeah.
Like, not by like modern standards, and it's a bit okay.
Yeah.
So nothing much is happening while we witness these awesome special effects, I guess.
Yeah, there were just kind of long sequences of music playing and special effects and lots of like gazing and like looking out into space with ooh, and I can see why a lot of people would hate that. I kind of like it, but
it's all right when you watch it on like DVD or Blu-ray or something, because you can just fucking fast forward.
well, yeah, true, yeah. But obviously they cut it down anyway. It's still quite a bit like that. Is the special edition, the 1999 special edition. But the point is that was rendered, from my understanding of it, it was rendered just in standard definition, because it wasn't a theatrical release unlike the Star Wars special editions. So for the longest time, if you've wanted to watch this special edition, it's been DVD only. And not just that, but Paramount have been very neglectful, I would say, when it comes to the Star Trek movies, because they also
the same when it comes to the series. They don't like re-releasing or updating them. They did it for next gen. It didn't really sell super well, so they're like, yeah, nah. Any other series you can fuck off. It's standard def, fucking DVD quality at best, and even then.
Yeah, because you're right. I remember they did the Next Generation. It was a massive undertaking, and they spent a lot of money and time on it. And from what you're saying, it wasn't a big seller. See, I tend to know more about the movies. You know a bit more about the series. I know a little bit about the series as well. I'm just
saying, it's not just the movies they're not really supporting. It's the series as well.
Right. Yeah. So
I say if you watch a lot of them, they are in like basically TV quality.
Yeah. I mean, I own the original series. I mean, from my point of view, I'm almost exclusively a Captain Kirk Star Trek fan. Not much else gets a look in with me. Although I did used to watch the 90s stuff when it was on originally. I liked it and I respect it. But for a number of reasons, like I say, I just kind of stick to the original series stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's in no way criticizing, if you like that other stuff, I can see why it was very good. It was very well made. The characters were really good. But it's just, like I say, it's not something I've really sort of dug into. But yeah, point is anyway, so they've been quite neglectful. And for example, the second movie, The Wrath of Khan, that one originally, when it got a Blu-ray release in the box set that you got for the first 6 movies, that was just the standard version. It wasn't the director's cut, although they did really release a Blu-ray of that on its own. And the 6th movie again is only the theatrical cut on Blu-ray, as far as I'm aware. I don't think there's any other way of watching the full cut of it, which to me has only ever been the normal version, because even when it came out to rent, it was the full cut of it, not the theatrical cut, because there's a lot of stuff in there, like really important stuff that isn't in the theatrical cut. You wouldn't ever want to go back to that, basically. But then when they released it on Blu-ray, it's like, for the first time ever, the theatrical cut. It's like, that's not a good thing. There's a reason this is the first time ever, because it's obsolete and it's got loads of stuff, like key stuff missing. So, like the Scooby-Doo ending where the mask comes off and you see who the actual, one of the villains are. That's it's not in the theatrical cut. So, that's annoying, and they still haven't fixed that as far as I'm aware. So the only way to watch that is the DVD, and it's an old DVD. It's not very good quality at all. So, but at least with the motion picture, they have, well, for context, a few months ago they released the first 4 movies on 4K, including the director's cut of The Wrath of Khan, Star Trek 2, in full 4K on the Blu-ray discs. That's good. That's what you want. But it still only had the original theatrical cut of Star Trek, the motion picture, the first film, which I understood and I accepted that because, as far as I was aware, the special edition was only made for DVD. It wasn't a cinema release. They didn't render it properly by today's standards, so it was difficult. But however they've done it, I don't know if they've gone back to the original project files from like 23 years ago. Whatever they've done, they've now done a full-blown 4K version of the motion picture. I don't know if it's had the release yet or if it's getting the release very soon. Digitally, to begin with, digitally only, which is understandable, on the Paramount platform. And I'll let you talk about it in a second. And then in a few months' time, maybe sort of late summer, early autumn, maybe I seem to remember. I think September time, they're doing a 4K Blu-ray release. So I'm really chuffed with that because I do really like the special edition of Star Trek: The Motion Picture. The improvements, like I say, all of them were for the better, for the better. So that's a really good thing. So yeah. What were your kind of thoughts on the Paramount? What is it? The Paramount Channel or something that they do?
It's Paramount Plus.
That's it. And is that
it's a bag of shit, basically. I mean, but they've had to like get rid of CBS All Access, which is what it used to be, because nobody was fucking bothering with it.
Yeah.
So they've kind of like ended that and like started now it's Paramount Plus. It's like, really, guys? I mean, you're already like launching into like a really like oversaturated market, and yet you somehow think, like, really?
What's their big franchise? Because I don't really hear a lot of talk about this. Obviously, Disney Plus, you've got Star Wars and Marvel, and then like the Warner Brothers, is it Home Media, whatever it is, you've got the Zack
CBS
Snyder
has got a lot of TV shows, like stuff like NCIS and stuff, which is pretty big. They've got the Star Trek stuff that they kind of try and make a thing out of, but honestly, I think at this point, most people have kind of like abandoned the fucking franchise with that.
Yeah. Because I wonder if the motion picture in 4K, the special edition, I wonder if that's like their way of like trying to do something that will cost money, but not like the same as making a big film from the ground up. Like what they did with the Zack Snyder Justice League. It was like they didn't have to create a brand new film for that. They had something that was potentially big. And from what I understand, that was quite a successful thing as well. So maybe they're trying to do something similar with Star Trek: The Motion Picture. I don't know.
I honestly couldn't say. I'd be purely guessing on that one.
Yeah, but it's good news. Like I say, I was really chuffed when I heard that because it's been one of those things. Because I was tempted to get this the 4K set that came out late last year because I mean it's the best of the movies, really. I mean, especially 2, 3, and 4, they're pretty much highly regarded as the best ones because it's kind of its own little self-contained trilogy. You've got 5 and 6. 5 was probably the lowest point, I think, for that series of movies. That was one that William Shatner directed, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was very much considered kind of like his vanity project, if you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't a great deal of call for it.
Yeah. If number 5 kind of like somebody, I think it was Sci-Fi Debris, Matt described it this way, saying it was like a bad parody of Star Trek whilst being Star Trek. So
yeah, it was kind of weird like that. Like, what the hell he was thinking, God only knows.
Yeah, I kind of enjoy it for what it is, but what it is isn't great.
Yeah,
And then then number 6, which is really good, it's back on form, is that one. That was the guy that directed Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan. He did number 6. Was it Nicholas Meyer, I think he was called? He came back and did that one. And that was kind of a farewell to the original cast. Although you did see some of the others pop up from time to time in like The Next Generation and Generations, the next movie. A few years later. That was the 25th anniversary of the series in 91 from 66. And but again, that one, even now, as far as I'm aware, unless they do go and do a full-on HD transfer of the full cut, I don't even call it the director's cut. To me, it's just that's the cut of the film. The theatrical cut is the trimmed down version, the obsolete version. But yeah, I was going to get that box set. It had numbers 1 to 4 in it in full HD and in 4K, sorry. But I haven't got around to buying it, and I'm glad, because I would have watched them, and then this new one would have come out, and I would have been like, I want to watch it, but I watched the other one recently, so at least now I can kind of hold out until that comes out. But I really need to rebuy the original series, I think, on Blu-ray, because I got them on DVD. And the ones I got were again, it was ones that they'd kind of like tinkered with and given more up-to-date special effects in, which I didn't mind it, to be fair. I thought it was quite well done. Did you ever watch those?
I don't think I have, actually, to be fair.
Yeah, they were pretty good, because they still kind of look like models whilst being CGI, so it's quite loyal to the original series. And they had a lot of good extra features on them as well. It was a good box set with that, for the 3 original series, the 3 seasons of the original series. But I might upgrade to Blu-ray. I don't know. I think with the Blu-ray, I seem to remember you get the original versions and the sort of special edition versions with the updated special effects. And obviously it was the animated series as well, which was kind of like a series 4, wasn't it?
Yes.
Because was there some issue with the animated series? There was some like fundamental problem with it or something.
They couldn't afford everyone.
Right. The actors, you mean?
Yeah, which is why there's like no. Is it Chekhov who's not in it and stuff?
Right. Interesting.
It was something like that. I'm not a big expert on the animated series. I've not even seen all of it, to be honest.
Yeah. Reason I was asking,
but there was definitely like something like that. Like they couldn't afford everyone, so they had to like cut back, and like there's like at least one character or a couple of characters that are not in it. Might be like Chekhov and Sulu who aren't like actually.
Yeah, I think Sulu might be. I've only seen it once, and that was quite a while ago.
Yeah, I've only seen certain episodes of it, and I do remember that was the thing. Like they could get the main ones like Kirk, Spock, and
right.
yeah. I think maybe they were able to get like Uhura or something, but like they weren't able to get all of them.
Right. Yeah, the reason I was asking about problems was I seem to remember something about a lot of people don't regard it as canon, and I think there was a specific reason as for that, but I can't remember what it was. So.
I can't remember. I know there was one episode that was like held up as like, yeah, we consider this definitely like 100% canon.
Yeah, I don't see why not, because I remember enjoying it. I watched it. It was quite a few years ago, but like I said, I think I'm due a rewatch of all those. But yeah, let's say with the movies, and then obviously there was the Next Generation movies as well. There's nothing, no really news or anything on that. It is what it is, kind of thing. But then there's the J.J. Abrams verse, or the Kelvin verse, whatever you want to call it.
Oh shit, as I call it. No,
I'm
joking. It's okay.
Well, you like the movies, but I think the concept of it and stuff was.
Yeah, I'm honestly, my bitterness more comes from like the TV side of like bullshit.
You're cutting out a little bit. I'll let you give you a bit of time just for it to reconnect.
I don't really have much else to say. So.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. You like the movies, but it was the concept of the broader universe, because they kind of shut it out a little bit with the TV side. Not to put words in your mouth.
Well, as long as you're not putting anything else in my mouth, I don't want to turn into the boat.
No, that was the tofu. But yeah, with those movies, oh yeah, good news. They are doing a fourth movie in the J.J. Abrams. I read about it. It's been announced, therefore it's happening.
Well, that's confirmed then.
Yeah, it's not like they've made loads of announcements so far, and that they've been talking a lot of bollocks. But yeah, no. Anyway, like I say, I think we kind of come to the end of it. But yeah, I thought there was some good stuff there. Like I say, with the motion picture coming out and stuff, the proper version, the special edition coming out on 4K. It looks really nice. There's a trailer for it as well. If you look that up, it definitely sells it as something you'd want to watch because, like I say, it's good to see all the stuff that they did, but then you watch it, it's just depressing because the quality of it is like so bad. It's an old DVD. It's like 99, 2000 when it came out. Same with the sixth movie as well. It's just really bad quality, and it's in that thing where it's square picture because it was that old. It was made for square TVs or to cater for square TVs mostly. So you've got the black bars on the top and the sides. It's like you can zoom in, but the more you zoom in, the worse the picture quality gets. And the subtitles, which you sometimes need for like when people are speaking Klingon or whatever, were in the black bars. So by zooming in, you're cutting that out. So yeah, it's not good. But anyway, I think we can leave it there. Don't think there's much else to say. It's just a casual thing. So anything else you want to
Yeah, Ufa.
add? Yes, he's cutting out. All I got there was over, but I'm pretty sure we can guess what you said.
And yeah, nah.
Yeah, so before we go totally off subject, so the Topher is now aware of all the DVDs that he borrowed at one time because he's being confronted. So any thoughts on that?
Right.
Yeah.
I
Good
mean,
old
no,
Steve.
Tofu doesn't really I barely even think of the fucker, so
You do. just as
I really don't.
just as one-liners. So
Yeah,
we don't want him
like
rocking up
beyond
at your house.
the Tofu, it's nothing.
We don't want him rocking up at your house with a load of your DVDs because now he knows that we know. So
I mean, you'd have to get them back from fucking Fusion Games.
well, yeah, that's true, which doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, well, I thought I'd leave it there because I think Paul Cage might be watching this, so I'm sure he'll get some entertainment out of that last little bit anyway. So for everybody else, I'm very sorry about that, but it's a running storyline on this channel, a bit like the X-Files, where you had like the conspiracy like story like weaving throughout each series. It gets a look in every now and again.
Yeah, and much the same way, this story has not moved forward in like how many years
Yeah.
now?
Yeah. No, I think this one's probably moved forward more, to be honest. So anyway, right. I'll leave it there. Right. So yeah, anyone who's watching this, unless it's Topher, do consider like and subscribing because I don't think Topher would like this video very much.
Yeah, don't like and subscribe, Tofu. We don't want you.
Yeah, although he might like the fact that I'm talking about buying some new 4Ks because that'll be a bit more cash in his pocket. But for now, I will leave it there and say thank you very much for watching.